call this November 9th, 2011 work session to order. At this time, I'll open up public participation, so anybody in the room would like to speak on any issues on this side of the room. Anybody on this side of the room would like to speak on anything?
No, thank you.
That ends public participation. Chief.
Today, Mr. Dillon had asked me to attend the workers' compensation seminar put on by the insurance company. Today, Marie and I went to that. They talked about workers' compensation claims, because we've had some with the fire department. Talked about managing the risk, which from the insurance company's standpoint, they've been talking about physicals for new members, background checks, and some other things like that. But one of the things they spent quite a bit of time on is the new firefighter cancer presumption law, which will be if, under certain conditions, if a firefighter who's active develops cancer, the presumption will be that it was work-related and it would be covered by workers' compensation. So the insurance, there haven't been any claims yet, but they see that as a potential large cost from their standpoint in the long run. From a firefighter standpoint, we think that's a good thing that it's finally recognized that firefighting cancer is a result of the occupational exposures of being a firefighter. Also, I've been working with Mr. Dillon on the fire alarm problem at the rink. We suggested some changes that will eliminate some of the initiating devices that are causing the problems over there, and that should be coming up. I think they're about ready to sign the work order for that. The carbon monoxide program we started, we've installed a few so far. Plan to expand the plan next week. Put together a resource guide for each fire company while they're out there, a reference guide to do the installations. I have about 100 completed surveys of people who need carbon monoxide detectors. We do have 200. I'm waiting for the funding to buy the additional 1,300 so that we can get started on those. Once we work off the list of the 100 people that we have, the basic idea then is just simply go door to door. And people that don't have them will be installing the carbon monoxide alarms for them. Last thing, the county and Motorola is sponsoring information seminar today, tonight, tomorrow, and tomorrow night for the police and fire departments concerning the new radio system. I think Chief Porter, if he wants to talk about that, he actually went to that today. He could provide more information on that. That's it.
Anybody have any questions for Herbie?
Yeah,
Herbie, let me go back to the beginning about the volunteer firemen. Apparently, workers' comp carriers are now requesting that we give physicals out and everything. This is only for new members. Anybody that's been in is grandfathered in, from what I understand.
Right now, as far as I know, the only fire company that was doing physicals was my fire company. We talked to Mr. Dillon a little bit about that, and the idea is that's what the insurance company, to get the program started, would be to only do physicals
For new
members to get it started.
And then that new member would have to be approved through Borough Council.
That's in accordance with the current ordinance, right. The ordinance does require that.
So fire companies just can't start picking volunteers.
Right.
I mean, if you come here and say, I have 3 volunteers, and we approve them after they take the physical and everything they're supposed to, that's fine.
Yeah, the procedure's really not in place to do that currently. Right now, somebody wants to join a fire company, they join the fire company. That information's not provided to Borough Council. The Borough Council does not approve that.
I'm saying, with the new procedure, the way it looks, from what I'm understanding through the insurance carriers, we're going to have to adopt a procedure and do an ordinance through Borough Council, and this is how the procedure will work.
That's the way the insurance company would like to see it done.
So what I'm getting at is maybe yourself, the mayor, and myself can meet with the solicitor and the manager over the next maybe December, January, and come up with a procedure that we feel is something we want to put on a resolution, and you and Bobby could bring it back to the fire companies, because you meet every month, get their input with it, and then we'll adopt some kind of, Merle, I'd like you to sit in on this committee too, if you would like, since you're the emergency management coordinator. And then we'll see if our insurance company is happy with the procedure, and then we'll adopt that as a resolution.
Right. The main issue from the fire company standpoint in the past for the physicals has been the cost.
Well,
So,
I mean, it all depends what, there may be, Robin and them do physicals for agility and all that for policemen. We have the coach at the high school or somebody, run them through.
right, that's one of the details
That
that
end
have
of
to
the
be worked
physical,
out.
as far as physical through a doctor. With this cancer thing, I think we need to come up with a procedure that, doesn't detect any lung cancer or anything at this time, and then we have something to say, okay, this guy's a clean bill of health, and now he gets cancer down the road. Our insurance is required to, like you said, it could be a workman's comp claim.
The presumption will be...
So it's going to get pretty strict, I think, next year on how we're going to handle this. Anybody want to add anything to this?
Do we know when this is supposed to take effect?
The cancer presumption law is in effect now.
Oh, it's in effect now. Then wouldn't part of the protocol would be to have physicals now then?
Well, we need to set a procedure on how it's going to be done.
But do we set that procedure? Or does the county, whoever, or the insurance company?
No, we do. From what I understand, correct, Mr. Dillon?
Yes. So this will be a requirement of the insurance company of newly,
For now, it's all new members.
all new members of a volunteer fire company. And it's going to be, the physical part will be the requirement. I guess I didn't catch the council approval of new members?
That actually has been in effect since 1927.
Why have we never done that?
It's come up from time to time. I can't answer that. I actually found a memo from 1983 where at that 1983 council wanted to do it, and it showed up, and it just kind of faded away, and we've gotten away from doing that.
What I'd like to have done tomorrow, if it's possible, is contact the chiefs from all the departments, send the borough a list of all your volunteers now that are on the books, and going forward, they can't add anybody without coming through council. This way here, we know who's on as a volunteer fireman, since our workman's comp is going up.
I have a little bit of a problem with that. I mean, I don't mean to disagree, but I think that as council people, for us to have to approve volunteers to a fire company, I'll be quite frank and outspoken, I think that could get quite political. I think that people will end up saying, well, I don't like this person or his
No,
brother.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I
But
think
why
the
would
problem
we
is,
approve
we
it?
just had a workman's comp claim with a guy that fell off the truck, that we had to go fight this workman's comp claim and win the claim. The guy wasn't even from around here, he was from Philadelphia, from what I understand, right?
Originally from Philadelphia, and I think he still lived in Philadelphia at the time he joined the company.
I think we need,
Logically, I think anyway, once they pass a physical, there wouldn't be no reason not to let them be volunteer firemen.
But we would have to approve them
Well,
being
I don't think
fire.
there
that's
would be
just
a
a
reason we
procedure.
wouldn't.
I don't think we're here to tell people,
Well, that's, I
we
just
don't
want
want them
to,
to
yeah,
join
well,
the fire
that's kind of
department.
my point here
But
is
if you
that,
have somebody joining that shouldn't be a member because they can't pass a physical, or they
Right,
can't do
that's
anything,
different.
That's
That's
different.
then we should be able to say, no, you're not physically,
I just don't want us as a council or any council to get involved in, it seems to me that the chiefs do this. I think the less that we do in terms of, micromanaging a fire department.
that's fine.
Okay,
But I
yeah.
think we need to protect the borough against lawsuits.
No, we definitely need to protect the borough, but that's why most insurances, when you do get health insurance, or when people get insurance from insurance companies, like life insurance, they do certain physicals. That's why I asked who's going to take care of the physicals. They have to pass a physical to be able to come here and say they want to be firemen. I mean, that's just, common sense.
Tony, you want to go to the podium, please?
A couple
concerns is that the abiding by the American Disabilities Act, there was a township company last year that was sued for not taking in a member that had a disability, and they were sued. And I'm just wondering, if somebody has a disability and you're saying they can't, become a member because of any disability or
No, we're not
weight?
saying that at all.
It seems like there might be some kind of, in my opinion, maybe some type of discrimination physically or something like that.
If you have a member that's in a wheelchair and you just want them to sit downstairs and answer your phones or do filing, nobody has a problem with that.
My other concern is that if this only applies to new members, for the cancer, what happens to people like myself who have 30 years in, and we're not baselined? I mean, so how do you, if I develop cancer and then I don't
This
benefit?
law was just passed, so I think that's why I'm saying, nobody wants to act on it now.
Right.
Let's understand the law. Let's meet with the mayor and the chief will meet with the fire chiefs at their regular meeting, and we'll try to come up with something that we all understand that
I think
works.
the physicals are a great thing. I mean, but if you're going to do one, I think you should do it. My opinion, it'd be nice if everybody was done.
It's possible that it may go that far,
Because
but
that
we
way then
don't
you
know
have
yet.
Then you have a baseline on somebody like me who's been doing it for a while, and and as I get older and things change, then you have something to reference. That's the way we usually, do other things.
Well, we don't want to spend any unnecessary money on anybody unless the insurance companies we need to find out exactly what we need to do first.
We need to be educated.
Okay.
And to do something tonight or next month or January, I think it's too quick. I think we all need to take a step back. We understand what's going on, but we need to make sure when we do it, it's done right and everybody's in the agreement with how it's going to be done.
Just one question. Regarding the workers' compensation, that comes out of the money that through the tax for the fire departments, correct? And then the borough just pays that, they decide. So there's not an option like you can give that. I know the township had this a few years ago. They went with the company that we have now, the Delaware Valley, whatever, Group Workers Trust or whatever it is. They decided to give the money to the fire departments. They went on their own and got their own workers' comp. I don't know if
Real
that's
estate tax money pays for the premium.
right. So I mean, whatever that,
Can they go on
the
their own
millages that we
vote?
get, part of that goes towards,
I don't think we want them to start trying to get their own workman's comp. I mean, it can be discussed at your committee.
just something to think about. I didn't want to,
I mean, if it becomes something that we can get out of and we have maybe something that I'd be more in favor of.
I just know, not that I want to have anybody, coming into the fire department that,
As long as there's not a legal issue that comes back on
yeah,
us.
it's just very difficult to get members now. Our membership keeps dropping. I mean, just not my company, every company, and it's very difficult. The demands, basic firefighting is 200-something hours, plus the in-house training and all the other stuff. Because it's very difficult to get, for somebody, to be a firefighter, you have to give them, 6 months worth of training just for basics. It's, and with the lifestyles people have now with, people working multiple jobs, it's just very difficult, and I just don't want this to hinder,
We understand that everybody's a volunteer and we appreciate what you guys do. So nobody's here to
Oh, no, I
hurt
understand.
you in any way.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw a
We
couple
just
thoughts
got to follow our guidelines. When our insurance company puts us on notice about something, if we don't do what we're supposed to do and there's a claim, it comes back on the
I understand.
taxpayers.
I understand.
Oh.
All right, thank you.
Chief, save us a phone call tomorrow. Can we get your list of members tomorrow?
Yes, I'll get that
I
for
see
you.
Chief Mulholland in the back. I think you're the only two that we don't have, so we can get those tomorrow.
I'll get that for you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
I think, the fire companies would agree with Robin is that, fire companies are not interested in taking in members who are going to create problems for the fire service or for their fire company. And the second part is that there is also, from the insurance company, their main focus is to do pre-employment physicals for firefighters, but they're also recognized a need to do an annual type of medical screening, which would benefit all of the people. I think that in looking at this, one is that new members need to be done, and two is that we probably, if we sit down, we could come up with certain people are at a higher risk for heart attacks or illness or something like that, and maybe develop a plan to start screening some of those people.
Okay. Anybody else have anything for Herbie? Chief?
Last month, we did a substantial amount of training with our officers. We sent an officer to narcotics training. We sent another officer to fingerprint and courtroom testimony training. And most of the department has gone through its biannual first aid and CPR and AED training and recertification. Also, last month, we instituted the new traffic patterns at Snyder Girardi School, and that's been well received by teachers, administrators, parents, and officers alike. 99% of it is positive. I mean, you can't please everybody, but the results of that traffic study and what we've seen so far the last few weeks have been really improved the traffic flow. And we're going to continue to monitor that and see if there's any tweaking we can do of that plan. Last month, we, again, were involved with the prescription drug take-back program. However, it fell on a snow day. That hampered all of the counties with the exception of Philadelphia. We took about a one-third reduction than we did back in April. Back in April, we collected 32.9 pounds, and in October, we got 21 pounds. But that fell, that one-third to one-half on all the counties in this area, the 5-county area, except Philly was just about the same. Bike patrol, they're still out. We have them out on mischief night and Halloween, and they reported that very little mischief and activities on those nights. That's been the trend over the last, I'd say, 6-7 years. I'd like to think it's because we've been hitting those 2 nights pretty heavy with patrol, and it's had some impact on the problems we've had in the past. And as Herb said, I did attend a meeting today up in Doylestown regarding the new radios. Again, we got another matrix of prices and some price changes. We keep getting them. This one was for the police side of it. Looks like the radios right now are going to come in between $5,000 and $6,000. And that's without installation, without microphones, without radio holders. It's just the radio itself. County's going to be asking for a 6 to 9 month extension of the deadline, which is January 1st of 2013, when the changeover is supposed to occur federally. And we'll just have to wait until we hear some more information from them as far as the payment on how these will be paid through a bond through the county. Last time it was a 7-year bond. They're looking at doing that again this time around. Looks like we'll probably need approximately 30 to 34 of those radios. In car, we need about 9 radios, and then the rest we need in portable radios for the officers. That's all I have.
Anybody have anything for the chief?
Do we know how long bike patrol is going to stay out?
Until December last year. We'll see what we can do this year.
Okay. Thank you.
Arnie, it was wonderful on Halloween to see patrol officers actually on foot on Mill Street, and I know it's probably not possible all the time, weather permitting, but it really looked very nice. It looked great to see, and I don't know whether it's possible on occasion to have one of your officers walk on Mill Street. You know, it's quite the hub these days. I actually counted when I walked tonight, and there aren't that many empty stores left anymore. So there's a lot of activity. The other thing is the corner of Old 13 and Mill. Arnie, somebody's coming over that bridge. It's terrible. It's really dangerous. And I'll tell you that every day I walk my dogs, and like a good pedestrian, I hit the thing for the light, and eventually the light going this way turns green, the light this way turns red, and the thing says you can walk. But when I step out into that crosswalk, it's so far back that they come across the bridge and they fly around that corner. They don't see me. They don't see me in the crosswalk, and they fly. I would just love to see if you could get a police officer to sit somewhere in that vicinity. it's really a potential hazard on that corner.
Are you talking about rush hour or any time?
No, all the time, all the time. They fly, it's the bridge, they fly across the bridge, they know if the light's green, nobody's coming this way, nobody's coming this way, so they come up and they make that right-hand turn onto Mill, and, or straight on through, and, I just really, it's been a concern of mine for a while. You guys were great, or the borough was great in taking the turning in front of the bike shop, and they marked that, so that problem's been solved, but, I don't see anywhere in the West Ward that has as dangerous an intersection as that. So if you could just
We
put
will.
some
We'll
attention
monitor
to it,
that.
I'd appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I have.
Anybody else for the chief?
Yeah, Chief, I'm still getting complaints about speeding on Pond Street where Monroe and Monroe, and even between Monroe and Madison, in that section there where the memorial is, I'm still getting reports about speeding. Now, we've had the digital monitor there for a while. I don't know what else we need to do other than, some kind of enforcement, whether it be speed traps or have a guy sit there or...
We issued some citations there last month. Now, are you seeing it mostly coming from Wawa into town or going the other way?
They're coming down Pond Street, and Pond Street turns into Farragut. Once they get through that stop sign, they just floor it. It seems like they go down Farragut Avenue towards Green Lane, 40, 50 miles an hour.
We do have lines up there near a Hollywood barber shop. We'll see what we can do with that.
Yeah, somewhere around Harrison Street. I mean, we tried this years ago, but to put a traffic light there or something, just to slow it down. But somebody's going to get hurt. So we need to do something about it. That's all I have.
I apologize for holding you up, Tracy, but I'll get to you. I just want to bring everybody up to speed on the Public Works facility. The job's going extremely well. We're way ahead of schedule. If you notice down there, they're doing as much as they can, taking advantage of this weather. They got the base coat of blacktop down. Fences are up, shrubbery's in. The mason's supposed to start tomorrow. The steel's supposed to start on Tuesday. They're estimating maybe about a month to be under roof, if not sooner, which would be great. We received, so everybody understands, that $1 million that was promised us from the federal government for this project. We received $910,325.65 so far.
Great.
Great. And the project, I want to get back to the base bid on this project was not $3 million. It was $2,552,000.
And $325,000 engineering and architectural fees.
Still
Don't add
not,
that?
huh?
You don't want to add that?
It's not $3 million. But let me just, no.
Does the
Right.
2.5 include engineering and architecture?
Pardon me?
Does the 2.5
No.
include? It doesn't include it.
Does not include it.
So it's 3 million.
Well, in your math, you were a math teacher.
What's it in your mind, Ralph?
About 2.7, 2.8.
Oh, okay. Did that include the landscaping, Ralph?
Yes,
It did?
yes. Read the contract. The first change order that I discussed with Borough Council was a savings of $49,580, which brought the contract down to $2,503,000. Then we had a change order of $6,500, another deduct for stakeout, which brought it down to $2,496. I'm just using round numbers right now. Then we spoke to George, and they wanted to add a washout bay area. So if you see the salt shed and the storage bins, between there was a nice size area that they could back the street sweeper in, lift it up, wash it out with a hydrant, and it would go into the water would go into a basin, and they'd be able to scrape up all the debris. So when we added that washout, there was a change order of $9,605, which brought the contract back to $2,506. Then there was a oil separator, which we argued with DEP for about 3 months, Tracy. and finally got them to accept the fact that we didn't need this oil separator, which saved the borough $18,420, which brought the contract back down to 2487. When we finished the DEP cleanup down there, there was one area where the salt shed was, and behind it, that was never touched. We figured when we started this job, we would get to it. That cleanup consists of $28,407, which, if the salt shed wasn't in the location it was in at that time, Danucci would have cleaned that area up and we wouldn't have to deal with it now. But I'm going to add that to this contract, although it really has no part of this contract. Brings it back to 2516. And then the fuel station, when we added that, because there was not ballards all the way around the building, and they said, again, that, Tracy, if a lawnmower can hit it or something, even if a lawnmower could hit the gas tank, they wanted to protect them. So we had to add more ballards around the gas station, which is an additional cost of $9709. So as of today, where we stand for this building is 2526076. So we're still, if it wasn't for the $28,000 cleanup, we would be 50-some thousand dollars under budget, not over budget. So again, the job's going great. We're hoping to have it under roof by December 31st and be in this building in the spring. Do you have any questions on the building? For me or for Tracy, who's here tonight? Okay, so what I'm asking the manager to do is to put this on the agenda for Monday evening to ratify the 6 items that I just spoke to. Is that how it's got to be done, or got to be done one item at a time?
Well, the only one that really needs to be approved by council is the 28,000. The other ones need to be ratified by council because they're within the borough manager's discretion. So I would do this 28,000 as a separate approval and ratify the other 4. Even though 2 of them are deducts, let's ratify them all. And of course, the first one we've already done.
The $49,000 savings, we already
Approved.
approved that. So the $6,500 and the $18,000 we're saving, we need to approve, right?
Well, 2, 3, 5, and 6, 2, 3, 4, and 6, the council can ratify, and the 28,000 needs to approve.
Okay. So is everybody fine with what's going on right now? I mean, we're under budget, and again, if it wasn't for this cleanup in that area, we'd be about 50-some thousand dollars under budget. And Tracy, we're at a point right now where we don't foresee any, once we got out of the ground and the concrete is poured, the slab's done, I mean, to foresee any really major change orders.
No, most of the ones that are in process now are actually deducts, additional deducts.
Mostly deducts. So, like I said, the job's going good, and I think that we got out of the ground, and that was the problem. Once we got that cleanup in that area done. Okay, anybody else have any questions? For Tracy?
Yep.
Tracy, thanks for coming in. All right, Mr. Lutz, what do you have?
I assume that we're going to have a budget meeting soon, next week maybe, or?
I have them scheduled already.
Good. One of the things that I've noticed happens, the council during the course of the year, we get a lot of requests for donations, whether it be the parade committee or historical Bristol Day. And it's hard to turn them down at the time because, well, it's hard to project how much money we're going to spend on those things because we usually get those a month or 2 in advance. What I'd like to see is, let's call it a grant program, where council puts aside a certain amount of money, whether it be $10,000 a year or $20,000. And every year, we have a deadline whereby organizations that come to us and ask us for donations will apply for, we'll fill out an application, will tell us what they're asking for, how much they're asking for, and then council sits down and says, okay, once we spend this 15 or 20 grand, whatever it is, we're done. And we don't do it during the course of the year. And we base the amount of money that we give based on merit and who needs it the most and for what reason. But we just kind of do it here haphazard, where they come up, we talk about it, and we approve it. I like to do it on a yearly basis. Have them apply, and let council sit down and determine who they want to give the money to. And then if somebody comes in mid-year, say, look, you'll have to apply for next year. It's too late. That keeps us more within budget. It's just an idea that I had. A question for the solicitor, probably. Bill, I read somewhere that there's a foreclosure on, was it Elm Street maybe? Or was it Chestnut? There's another property coming up for sale?
Other than the one we just bought? Other than the one we just bought? Another one?
I'll try to get the address for you. Okay, but I think there's another property coming up. And one other thing, you know, we used to do this years ago. After the November election, we used to invite the councilman-elect to join us up here at the desks. So, and I like to do that. I like to invite Councilman-elect Devine, Councilman-elect Pezza, if he's here, to join us up here at the table for the next 2 months, and instruct the manager to give them packets of information. So when January rolls around, they hit the ground running. So it's like a 2-month orientation.
I already instructed the manager to start doing that.
Well, I noticed Mr. Devine. I don't see Mr. Pezza.
Mr. Pez is teaching college tonight on
Okay.
Wednesday nights.
Well, I'd like to have those guys join us.
There's
That's all I
certain
have.
things that they can't be privy to right now because it's
Well,
confidential information.
Executive session stuff I can.
Right, but whatever, I already told the manager, whatever we could send to their home, to send to them.
That's all I have.
Lorraine, you have anything?
The chief answered my question about the traffic pattern that I was going to ask him about the school. And I sent some requests to Angie today, and she answered about the budget. So I'm okay with that, too. And I just wish I would have been invited by you, Mr. Lutz, to sit up here when it was my turn.
Actually, you know what, Mr. Stellan, if I had thought of it, you would have been first on my list.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is there a time limit that a person can get a dumpster put in front of their house? Like, are they allowed to have it?
They're working on the project, and they need it, but if it's just sitting there and there's no activity,
All
it
right.
should be pulled.
So what, yeah, all right, I have an address on Penn Street where it seemed like they got the dumpster, they started doing work. I don't know if they pulled the right permits or something happened to seize all activity. But according to the neighbors, there's a big hole in the back that gas lines are visible, and they're worried about the hole being big enough where a kid can fall in, and the dumpster's still sitting there. And this has been since August. So I'll give Mr. Dillon the address later on.
Okay.
Also, when you get to work the polls, everybody wants something, and that's okay by me. I have a complaint, there's a pothole on Mifflin and Bath. They said coming down Bath, making the right into Mifflin, there's a hole there somewhere. If, George can go out and fill it or check it out. And that's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Robin.
I talked about Mill and Old 13. Going to ask that we, since the weather's so nice, that we have George and his guys go up. The area behind Grundy Towers has really gotten in a state of disrepair up along the fence line where people have gone back there and started to dump. So the fence line where where Louis' place is, if the borough workers could get back there, there's trees that are down, and it looks pretty bad. Just wanted to make a comment. I went to a very nice event today, a luncheon for the veterans at the senior center. And again, it's just something else that the senior center provides to the town. The Bracken cadets were there, the mayor was there, and it was for veterans, and it was really, really very nice. So just one more thing that those women over there do to enhance our quality of life. Another great program that I visited recently was the Bristol Borough 21st Century Community Learning Center. If anybody doesn't know about this, they do it at St. James Church. They have all kinds of activities that go on from 2 in the afternoon. And it was great because these were all Bristol Borough kids. And you go in there and they're doing yoga, girls have a thing called Girls Rule about self-esteem for young women. They walk over from school, so nobody drives. Their parents come and pick them up. But this is just something that the borough offers, another activity that the borough offers. I think this program goes from 6th grade to 12th grade, but very impressive. I think sometimes when you get out into the community and see what this town has to offer, you will even be prouder than you are, if you don't, so.
They also do SAT tutoring there, too.
Yeah.
They do a lot of good
Yeah,
things.
it's pretty amazing, it really is, so, no, that's all I have.
Mr. Ralph, I'm sorry.
Mr. Ralph?
I was just, Mr. Ralph.
Yeah. It's a little weird.
Mr. Dillon.
It's a little weird.
I want to ask you, does the dog catcher only come out, relax, I see you, only come out when there's a dog call, or does he ride around once in a while to catch people with their dogs that are walking, that do their thing and they don't clean it up, like?
I defer to the chief at the moment.
He does do patrols. He does sometimes up to 90 hours a month on patrols, and he warns
Well,
people.
I know he's a wonderful dog catcher, but can you ask him to patrol Bath Street? I have an 86-year-old woman who's a wonderful person and is getting upset because somebody's walking their dog and it's doing its thing in front of her house all the time. And if he can just patrol the area, see if we can find, I
He'll
work
sit
all
there
day.
and watch.
Huh?
He'll stake the place out.
Well, I know he will. But I promised her that I would mention it tonight. I almost forgot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Why don't carry it? They may have
Anything
changed.
else?
Thank you.
Just to let everybody know, the borough residents, that the street sweeper will end on November 18th. That's a Friday. So if anybody wants to get the word out, November 18th, the street sweeper will end. If we continue it after the 18th for some reason and the weather stays nice, we will not be enforcing parking tickets.
Oh, good.
So if we want to run Pond Street, Jefferson Avenue, Farragut, Mill, Ratcliffe, some of the major intersections, we'll continue that. But after November 18th, there will be no tickets given. I would like to schedule budget meetings starting Monday and Tuesday, November 21st and 22nd. I checked with Mr. Polensky's on 3 to 11 tonight, and that's why he's not here. And Councilman Sabatini had a procedure, and Councilman Musi on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays is getting treatments, so he couldn't be here. So I'm trying to schedule him on the 21st and 22nd. Also keep the 23rd open, or 24th if we need to go.
24th is
That's
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
21st, 22nd, when we got it,
Sleep during.
29th?
29th yet.
Well, we may have some long meetings on the 21st and 22nd, because we have till the 29th to get this
All right,
budget done.
22nd I'll be late because I'll be at work. Every Tuesday I work till late.
Hopefully, we go through it on, like I did last year. I'm trying to
Good
make it
last year.
as easy as possible for everybody to follow.
You did real good last year,
The
Ralph.
other thing is, the Christmas tree lighting will be Friday, November 25th at 6:30 PM on the corner of Mill and Ratcliffe. This year, there's going to be a lot of activities for kids. It's going to be a really festive night, and hopefully the weather cooperates, and there's a lot of people that got involved in this year to make it a really special event. So it's not going to be just let's light the tree and go home. There's going to be music, there's going to be things for kids. Get a lot of people out and attend this. I have asked the manager, starting January, February, and March, to start scheduling meetings with all our financial people, to start reviewing financial. I know they're boring meetings, they can last 2 hours at least, but we're going to need, with the economy the way it is, and we need to bring everybody back in and start hearing, if anybody has a magic wand, but I think I like to start getting everybody in during the month of January, February, March. So we're meeting 2 nights for work session council meeting, and then probably 2 nights the opposite weeks for financials and everybody. I want to bring insurance companies in, financial people in, and just sit here and let them go through the process to hear everything they have. And so let's start scheduling, keeping your calendars open for 3 or 4 straight months. And the last thing is, if anybody went through Harriman, where they, Aqua and Pico opened the roads up, if you see that, everybody said they were destroying them, but if you ride by now, you don't even know they were opened up, you don't feel any bumps, the road is fixed, put back to the way it was before they started, at no cost to the borough. So that's another misperception. That's not all I have. Mr. Lee, Larry, you have anything?
No, I have an executive session afterwards.
Going? Mr. Salerno? Can I get a motion to adjourn? We're going to go into executive session, so if everybody could leave, we want to get out of here as soon as possible.